Good blessed Tuesday morning, June the 29th, 2021. It's about 10:39 a.m. I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor what your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter if you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me nor my YouTube channel, which I encourage all human beings all around the world to subscribe. It's Raymond, Raymond Ivy. It don't cost you anything but your undivided attention. But today what I want to talk about, lately I've been talking about the death of my son, Brian Lamont Johns, who was found hung in Carbondale, Illinois, allegedly on March the 19th, 2021, in the 400 block of Oakland Street in the Gaslight Apartments on the third floor in the hallway. If you want to hear that story, you can look at some of my YouTubes. But God has put it on my mind to speak about something else that's going on in Carbondale. God has put me in Carbondale for a reason. And when I say put me in Carbondale, I don't live in Carbondale. But having me focus on Carbondale like I did on Charleston, Missouri for 25 years, exposing corrupted police, judges, blacks that's heading organizations like Justice for All, NAACP, black and white preachers that's getting government grant money and misusing and abusing their powers. God got me focusing on Carbondale now, not just because of the incompetency and the corruption on the investigation of my son's death that they trying to deem suicide, and I believe it was murder. I believe he was killed somewhere else or killed in one of them hallways where his T-shirts was found or his body was found. And more than one person hung him up there because his hanging was too perfect. Once they finish this so-called death investigation, you all would be able to see with your own eyes when all of them photos and all that information is released. But let me focus on something else. I thank God for the two organizations that allowed me to, the two groups that allowed me to be a part of their groups, accepted me in as a part of their group. And that's the Carbondale group, What the F Carbondale, and the other group, Justice for Molly Young, that is. But I want to focus on something to try to wake up some people, because I was looking at some comments that an individual made in What the F Carbondale just recently concerning two Saluki SIU students who just won their tickets to the Tokyo Olympics for July the 23rd, I believe it is, 2021, in the hammer throw. And one of them, somebody didn't like what she did. Sometime when people do something and do things, you need to try to do a little research to see why they did it. But the one who won, Deanna Price, she won for the second time the American, I believe, a title on the hammer throw. And another one of she's white, and the black student, Gwen Berry, she won the bronze. And it was posted up congratulating these two Saluki students, SIU Carbondale, Illinois students. And people was congratulating, and then one individual he made a statement that it kind of upset a lot of people, which it would upset you if you, and it's not just black people that is upset. It upset white people too. White people that stand for justice for all. White people that feel and know that the United States Constitution, even though it ain't fair, but it do give you the First and the 14th Amendment right to freely express yourself peacefully, freely speak peacefully, freely protest peacefully, freely gather and associate with people peacefully. But when Gwen Berry, when they was about to say the Pledge of Allegiance, when she turned her back, I don't care if she turned it intentionally or she thought they was through with the ceremony, but if she turned her back because she didn't want to honor this flag as far as not being justice for all, she had that right. But you had an individual, I'm not going to say his name. If you're a part of that group, you can look and see. And I'm going to tell you the history of this flag here and all of these pictures and things that's here. But this individual said that she not only disrespected this flag, he said that she spit on the flag by turning her back. Now, he said he was a soldier too. Let's get to the soldier part first. He was a soldier. Since he was a soldier in whatever war he was in, whether he was in it or not, he feel when he fought in the war, he represented her, he said. But let me tell you about a man that's probably older than this one particular soldier, because my dad, may he rest in peace, he just died January the 30th of 2021, right here in the home with me and my two young daughters, who had been taking care of him for the last 6 years, since October of 2014, when we went to Chicago to get him because he had dementia. When he died, he was holding my hand. But let me tell you about this particular soldier here. I'm speaking to the soldier and anybody else that feel like that soldier. You see, this flag was given to me, and anybody been to military funerals, these shells was given to me. And this is a picture of my dad when he was drafted in the war. He went not by choice, he went by force. Barely 18 years old. You see how the hat was sun worn off because it's from the 1940s. A female friend of mine in Sykes, Missouri, she reconstructed it, and you can see the hat is doing much better. That's my dad's obituary. But let me tell you a story that my dad told me. My dad grew up here in Charleston, Missouri. You see, he was born and raised here in Charleston, Missouri in the 1920s. He was going to a school in the 1940s called Lincoln School back then here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County. I want y'all to stay focused on this here because I'm finna tell you something that my dad told me. And it's going to be related to the individual field that Gwen Berry disrespected the flag. You see, my dad was going to a school where the only school that blacks could go to here in Charleston, Missouri until 1961. And if you don't believe the story, I'm going to tell you about this school and about why they had to go to this school. Google up Davis versus Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County Board of Education, or Davis versus Charleston, Missouri Consolidated Schools number 7. Charleston, Missouri Consolidated School number 7, they did not allow blacks to go to this school. They had updated books and everything. Blacks was forced to go to Lincoln School. Even though they got a good education, all they really wanted was updated books. But the whites here in this town didn't want them to get it. So they had to file a lawsuit. And then one of the law firms that was representing these racist white people, and if you're not racist, don't let it bother you, but was representing these people, they still a law firm in Sikeston, Missouri. I'll just give you the abbreviations. It's B&B. You see what I'm saying? They represented them. When you Google up the case, you will see it. But listen, this school, the Charleston, Missouri Consolidated Schools number 7 back then until 1961, into a federal court in the city of St. Louis, Missouri, a federal court ruled what they was doing unconstitutional. Now back then, I believe it was John Ashcroft, whatever his name was, that was the United States Attorney General then. He fought, he might have been the Missouri's Attorney General, but he fought against what the court had ruled. In other words, he is an Attorney General saying it's okay for the white people to not allow them black people into this school. Now listen real careful, y'all, because everything is done for a reason. Now, this same school is called Charleston R1 School District today. The only thing changed from the Charleston Consolidated Schools number 7 and the Charleston R1 School District, besides years unpassed and the courts had ruled what they was doing unconstitutional, the racism is still the same. Ask some of the blacks that's not a part of this good old boy system or bowing down to what's wrong. But my dad, when he left to the war, it was racism. Then, when my dad got to the military, guess what he said? He said they separated the blacks from the whites. You done drafted my dad, barely 18, in a war fighting against Adolf Hitler, one of the most racist person that was on the face of this earth. There's a many other Adolf Hitler still going on right now here in United States. But yet, you get him there and you separate him. Then when he get out, it was so racist down here in Charleston, Missouri, that him and my mother, when my dad was released from the military, he didn't even want to be released back here. He was released up in Illinois in Fort Sheridan. Him and my mother, he was 21 and my mother was 18. Both of them moved up to Chicago and raised all 9 of us because they didn't want us to live what they lived through here in Charleston, Missouri in the Boot Hill. It's still racism, y'all. But this is a message to the individual that's talking about she turned her head. Now, should my dad turn his head? Or would my dad have a right to turn his head on this flag? He did have a right. I have a right. My children have a right. And anybody else that's in my bloodline have a right. But we didn't. We don't burn it. We don't spit on it. But when the Pledge of Allegiance is said, I don't put my hand over this heart, because the 25 years that I lived down here in Charleston, Missouri, I had to sue for people calling me the N-word on the job. People discriminating me in accommodations. Flying J versus Raymond Ivy. Black Golds versus Raymond Ivy. Right now, the Family Dollar store here in Charleston, Missouri. You see what I'm saying? But I'm up against them in the Missouri Commission on Human Rights. It's been in there for about a year because a white female falsely accused my then 11 or 12-year-old daughter of stealing out of a store. Couldn't produce no video or nothing, and embarrassed them in front of them and all of the people. But yet, I still don't teach them to turn their head on the flag, but I do educate them on their history. I do not tell them to celebrate Christopher Columbus, because Christopher Columbus in 1419, he came over here, murdered, raped, and stole from the natives, took some of them back to Spain as captives, took some of their property back to Spain, and then he was honored by the Queen and King of Spain. Do you expect the natives to salute and honor Christopher Columbus? Do you expect the Jews to honor Adolf Hitler? But see, I give my daughters and them the choice whether or not to pick up on this flag. But then I'm going to end it with this. You same soldier, did you see Josh Hawley? He's a senator. He was the state attorney general here in the state of Missouri until he ran for senator, and they said he's going to try to run for president of the United States in 2024. God forbid him to get in that position. But did you see him on Wednesday, January the 6th, 2021, when he was holding his fist up like this here, saying power to those people that was trying to break into the White House? Did you see that? Did you see some of the other people that was not only Air Force personnel, a female that died trying to go in there, breaking the law, died going up in there. She was in the Air Force for 19 years. Do you think she disrespected the flag? You see what I'm saying? She went in there doing something, breaking the law, and lost her life. Do you think that she honored the flag? Do you think them police and National Guardsmen and state troopers and other police and other senators that was in there that said they didn't see nothing wrong with what happened on Wednesday, January the 6th, 2021 in the White House, they didn't see nothing wrong with it? Do you think they disrespected that flag? Now, let's keep it real, soldier man. If there was a bunch of blacks at that White House doing that, how many do you think would have survived? But again, I salute both of those Saluki students, Deanna Price and Gwen Berry, for jobs well done. Gwen, you can kneel down, you can put your fists up. If Josh Hawley can put his fists up, and he's a United States senator, a former attorney general who came down here, I believe in 2017 or 18, somewhere around there, maybe sooner than that or later than that, and arrested the sheriff here in Mississippi County. But yet he ain't arrested yet. Now, to some of y'all, this ain't making sense. But I think all of y'all that's letting him know that what he's saying is not right. All Gwen Berry was doing was exercising her First and 14th Amendment right. I could have burnt this flag. I could have spit on this flag. I could have buried this flag, but I didn't. Because my dad, he earned it. My dad, he earned it. He earned it. And see, my children, my two daughters, they done been through a lot of racism down here. But yet, I don't teach them to be racist. My children have a love for humanity. They even have a love for animals. When there was stray cats out here, they fed them, they named them. When they seen they had babies, they documented their names. And when some of them got killed when we went on vacations, or some of them died, or we seen them in the streets, my daughter and them asked me, can we bury them? That's what these are. 4 grave sites where we actually buried kittens and cats. They even bought flowers. Each time the flowers get older and withered away, they go get some more. You see, I don't teach my daughters and them to hate. But I'm not going to teach them that Christopher Columbus did something that he's worthy of being honored for, because he didn't. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell them you wrong if you don't put your hand on your heart when they saying the Pledge of Allegiance, especially when they've been through racism down here. You see, one of my 5-year-olds, she in this same Charleston, Missouri R1 school district, when she was 5 years old, a white bus driver abused her. The NAACP didn't step up. No leaders down here, black or white, didn't step up. But I stood up because I'm her daddy. All I can say to all of you blacks and whites that don't think that this country is still racism and injustice against blacks, all I can do is say, let my people go. And peace be still.